Hey guys, Manitoba again. What we're going to do today is an after action review of my siege battles from yesterday. Little disclaimer though, there is one loss and one of the videos didn't save because I tend to rely on ComToUS's embedded recording, so there was an issue there. But I have 9 battles to go over with you, so let's hop right on in and see what we got. Alright, in this first match, I'm taking on a Light Paladin, uh, Fire Harp, and Theo. So whenever I see Theo, I automatically just decide I'm going to bring in Leo because Leo handicaps Theo by speed reduction. And I'm playing around with Velajul and the Water Fairy. Now the Water Fairy is very fastly becoming one of my favorite units to use, whether it's in Siege, Guild Wars, or even trying it out in RTA. I don't currently have the right runes for it for RTA, so that's why I've been holding off on that. But I'm getting there, and once I get about 20 more speed on it, I think I'm going to go ahead and test my luck in there. But in this match, what I did is I eliminated the threat, which, because I brought Velajul, shifted from the Light Paladin to Theo. I just take out Theo. He's the only source of defense break, and that was the only thing that I thought would ruin my comp's ability to manage the match. But after dropping Theo, what I do is I just apply as many dots as I can to the Light Paladin, and it's basically a GG. The thing that makes the Water Fairy so strong is its ability to, as you can see right there, ComToUS's recording software just stops. 2-turn sleep and 1-turn freeze on skill 1 is amazing. That's why I like the Water Fairy. Not to mention the cleanse and heal on the second skill only has a 3-turn cooldown, so 1 proc and you're right back into another heal. It's pretty nice. The second match, once again, is a Light Paladin with a Molong and a Perna this time. So I 2A'd Jolton, and I try to use it against as many Jean comps or John comps as possible because the Light Paladin will target that the entire time. Contaminated Blood with enough HP stacked on your Jolton will counteract John's first skill heal on herself. So it's a fun unit, not to mention it does have a heal block in its passive, and it also has a defense break. So it's just a fun unit. It's really effective. Mine isn't overly fast, but it is nice that it does have a speed lead on it, and so my Water Monkey does benefit from that, and so does my Varad. I wasn't worried about the taunt because both my Varad and my Water Monkey are on Bio, so I knew eventually I would get a proc, or I would hope, based off RNG, I should get a proc. The only thing that went sideways on this one was Molong. I was hoping would either target the Jolton or the Varad with the Reckless, but he went with my Water Monkey. My Water Monkey's on a speed, crit rate, attack build, so he's relatively squishy, but he has, I think, a plus 121, 123 speed, somewhere in there. I wasn't a big fan of Water Monkey for a long time, but with the new meta in the RTA, it's sort of almost required as a build, so I did skill mine up finally, and I'm just going through and learning the play mechanics. I mean, there's only so much you can learn from watching videos. I understand that, but that's why I make these tutorials, so you can at least see how I'm trying to use the Water Monkey, and maybe you can incorporate it into your own setup. The next match is a Varad, Triana, and Halphus Light Lich. So I took my easy comp, Bulwark, Molong, and the Wind Paladin. It's an easy setup, really. What I'm going to do is nuke the Triana and stall, and then nuke the Varad, and then wait for my team to get the Halphus down to about 70%, and then Reckless the Halphus. I mean, it's this threat on defense really isn't a high threat. Immunity pretty much negates it. Because the only form of real CC over there is the Varad, and then you're hoping for the Despair procs from the Halphus. I'm trying to limit myself on saying bad defenses because with the way that Com to Us lately has been balancing units, and people are, I mean, the game's been out for 5 years now, so people are becoming more accustomed to meta units. So people are trying out new things on defense, and it's working because people aren't used to seeing it. So I'm not saying bad defenses, I'll say unique defenses. This is a unique defense. I didn't see the viability in it, but they could have surprised me, and it could have been just, who knows, a Fatal Blade Halphus at this point. Once again, though, without defense break, I wasn't really afraid of it. Alright, this next one is Fire Monkey King, Praha, and Light Taoist. So once again, I took in a very simple team to counter it. I'm going to go ahead and pop the Light Taoist first so I don't have to deal with this passive. I brought 2 water units, so I knew that the Fire Monkey would target my Jamire. And now that I'm seeing the video, I do remember that the Praha did get a little annoying because it lands just about every Despair stun it possibly can. I mean, what are we, 3 turns, 3 for 3 on stuns. I absolutely love Covenant. I know you guys have seen in my other videos. Build Covenant, I have 2. I'm waiting for his 3rd skill to get that 1 damn skill up with a 25% increase to his damage, because that is a huge factor on his damage output. And once that's done, you're probably going to be seeing me, if I do more Siege videos and whatnot, running multiple Covenant offenses. And I mean, I don't, at this point, between Covenant and Kali, I don't see why you wouldn't build multiples of them. I know Kali has become rather limited with the defense selections, shifting pretty heavily to the water, but if I pull a 3rd or a 4th Covenant, I'm probably going to build both of them. It's an amazing unit. For this next defense, it's another Jean with a Perna and a DS. Now, I don't see the relevance of DS on a defense. He's not as viable as I think a Darien is. But once again, like I'm not trying to underestimate anything I see. As you see, my solution to this was to just defense break the Jean as quickly as possible, nuke it down, because that was the threat with the controlling of the damage. Once it's dead, then I know my Leica is going to be able to solo both the DS and the Perna. But I took in my Perna just for a little extra sustain, and you got to take in 3 units anyway, so might as well take in a good one. I'm not having as good as luck with Lauren as everyone else is. Mine always seems to die, even though mine's relatively tanky. Alright, here's another one of my standard comps that I use with Skogul, Emesity, and Bulldozer. I'm going up against a Bulwark, Diana, and Amelia comp. Now what I was thinking was I was just going to doze this Wind Pony down, and it turned out to be relatively tanky. So that put me in a little bit of a bind, and then I believe the Water Pony goes a little proc nuts after this turn, which with its ability in human form that it keeps putting on Will, which continually stacks the Bulwark. So it became a little bit more of a testy match than I expected it to, because I know, once again in my previous videos, that I have knocked on Amelia's being on defense. But if they get enough bio procs, apparently they can be relatively annoying. I did get wrecked by another Amelia comp, I believe in a guild war yesterday, and it was pretty impressive. But I mean, without the procs, I don't think I would have lost. So it's that whole point of relying on RNG that some people like to do and build their defenses around. I mean, that's why Orion is still prevalent on so many guild wars and siege defenses. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to work down this Diana, and then once it dies, I know my Skogul is going to be able to take out the other two units. I really like Bulwark. Bulwark is an offensive unit. I don't like him on defense myself, but I mean, I've seen some pretty clever comps with him that might throw off some mid-game or beginning level players. So I see why people might want to try to make them work, or if they don't have a vast selection of 6 stars, you know, you use what you got. For this next one is a Wind Monkey, Ganymede, and Perna on defense. So we have the rare Sekhmet sighting in Siege. So I went with Garo and Rena and Sekhmet. The reason why I brought Rena, I know it's going to entertain the 2 winter units. I brought 2 fire units to hopefully spread the damage between Perna. Garo is pretty much a great counter. I mean, barring bio procs to a Perna. And we all know Perna is going to proc, so you might want to make your Garo a little tanky. As you can see, I go for the reset, and then I get a proc, AoE, Perna's dead. A lot of people knock and pick on Sekhmet. I honestly believe that as far as viability goes for the unit, it's a good unit. It does get outshadowed by its attack bar boosting water counterpart or its AoE sleep wind counterpart, but as a niche unit that does have viability, it is very usable. I believe very underrated. I really like my Sekhmet. When I pulled it, it was back when Ganymede was first introduced. I used it solely as a Ganymede counter. I know you can't put the ventilate on cooldown, but you can do cooldown his AoE reset, or his reset with his AoE attack bar pushback. So that would mess with a lot of people, and it at one point in time had my fastest Swift set on it just for that purpose. Alright, this next match is a pretty standard Guild Wars and Siege comp. You're looking at a Kamoon, Ethna, Theo, so I decided I was just gonna not deal with it and bomb it out. Bomb it out. I did acquire a Tiana, and I know you've seen her in some of my more recent videos. Great unit, makes everything a lot more stable. I missed a bomb, which is typical for Dover because his accuracy is only at about 70%. So just to clean it up, I made sure I put Sierra's bomb on Theo just in case he procced. I know he was going to die, and then between my Tiana tanking and my Dover eventually landing either enough bombs or keeping them CC'd enough, I knew I was going to take out the Kamoon. The only time I seem to have issues with Kamoons is when they're on the non-standard Vio build. It usually catches me off guard, and for some reason they just seem to proc like nuts and get that second skill on usability very fast, which allows them to out-heal my damage, but that wasn't the case. I did have another match, like I said. It didn't record, so I believe this is my second to last match. No, I think this is the last match. It goes on for a pretty long time, and I also pulled a Water Paladin recently, so I've been trying to force it to work, and I just got its skill 3 skilled up. So I was figuring I would take a full water team into a primary damage fire defense, and it didn't work out well in my favor because I believe the Annabelle does Annabelle things, and just poor team decision on my point. And not gonna lie, my Camilla has been the victim of multiple FRRs, so the speed isn't great, the crit damage isn't great. The only thing it's got going for it is its tankiness, and you know, if you're going to rely on procs on offense, it's not going to work out to your benefit. So yeah, they were able to defense break my aerial, and then from there it's just all downhill. I do like the water paladin, and I do see its viability. Mine's right now on a HP build, and I've had some recommendations to switch out one of the HP for a crit damage for more sustainability and viability in RTA. Just from a damage standpoint, a dead unit can't do any damage versus having to tank through any damage being put out. That's the one thing I do like about the Water Paladin's passive. If you just saw that right there, if it's not on cooldown and the Occult Girl procs asleep, the passive cuts in and prevents from innate turns from being generated. So it's a pretty cool little feature. I don't know if it's designed that way or if it's a little bug, but I've noticed it a couple of times. So that's why I was trying to work to my advantage. And like I said, mine's on an HP build, or HP build. So I was hoping that the shield would provide me more viability. The whole point of this was I was trying to take out the Annabelle because I didn't want to deal with the defense breaks, but it just didn't work out. I didn't have enough damage, and I brought no defense breaks. I was hoping, like I said, bruiser through it and use my Camilla's destroy to eliminate the Annabelle, and then hopefully just heal through it with aerial. But him getting defense broken twice with 100% or 89% resistance pretty much is what did me in. Go ahead and skip forward a little bit so you can verify the loss. And that is the end of it. So I hope you guys all had a very happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and all that fun stuff. Hope you have a safe new year. Looking forward to producing more content for you. If you liked what you saw, please leave a comment below. If you saw anything I overlooked, once again, comment. And you guys have a great new year.